Okay, Bismillah, wa salatu wa salam wa Rasulullah, wa ba'd. In the name of Allah, and may the peace of Allah, and peace and blessings of Allah be upon His last and final messenger, Muhammad. As to what follows, family, friends, foes, haters, and hateettes, welcome back to the Feachaz. I greet you all with love and peace and no hatred in my heart. Assalamu Alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May the peace and blessings of Allah be upon all of you. So before we begin, please hit the like, subscribe, share buttons. As you all know, we have a lot of haters up in here. And today's topic, today's live topic, inshallah, it's going to be more of an I want to say it's more of an open session, inshallah. It's more of an open session because the topic that we're dealing with, it's kind of like a culmination. Where I chose this topic, it's kind of like a culmination of the events that have been happening around the world in terms of, freedom of speech. Freedom of speech is a big one that is making the rounds. In terms of, excuse me, let me just move this here. Let me see if I can just move this around. In terms of all the dissidents that we see around the earth. Now, recently, I had watched I want to say that it was more of a documentary about Palestine, a very recent one, right? Something that came out either yesterday or the day before, right? And it was on Democracy Today channel, right? So I watched this documentary about how the Zionists are essentially inflicting war crimes on the Palestinians, right? So that kind of like gave me the motivation to do this live today. So like, subscribe, share, hit me up on Patreon. And let's get right into it, inshallah. So, family, as you know, and as I say often, that there is a global awakening happening in our time. And this global awakening is essentially causing people to lose their minds. You know what I mean? You are seeing the collapse of society where people cannot actually talk to each other. There is mass, like oppression happening throughout the world. And we find that people are taking very hardline decisions that are taking us back even to the times of slavery. Y'all understanding me? So now we are noticing that there are aggressive moves and pushes from the ruling class in order to silence the masses. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, like, subscribe, share, hit me up on Patreon. So if you consider, for example, what's happening in France, for example, how the government there had silenced these imams for just quoting the Quran, reciting the Quran on Eid, and the reaction or lack of actions, which is probably a better way to term it, the lack of action that the Islamic Society had taken in terms of this aggressive stance that the French government took against Muslims. Y'all hearing me? They took a very aggressive posture against Muslims and called it freedom of speech. Meanwhile, the president of France was drawn in a caricature dressed up as Hitler by anti-vaxxers And he essentially shut that down as well. These are the people who are telling you about freedom of speech. And what we're here to tell you is that there is no freedom of speech. Rather, this has now become the culmination of hundreds of years of oppression. This is now the end result of the actions of the oppressors. What you see happening internationally is that the oppressive class or the oppressing class is now in a state of panic. They're in a state of panic and turmoil for several reasons. First, the first reason that we can see is that China now is emerging as a superpower, and all the lessons that they learned from the European ruling class, they have now implemented them, and they are coming out as a superpower. And the demographics in China has now turned them into the new slave masters. And so, because China now is going through its own demographic crisis, where they have at least 3 million more men than women, or no, it's not 3, sorry, 30 million, sorry, not 3, that's a misquote. At least minimum 30 million more men than women. They have an aging population. They have this population that needs to get taken care of because they're too old to work by one-child families, because that government forced the people to have one child. And now they are in a demographic crisis, which is now causing them to act aggressive against the Uyghurs. You understand me? So now they have essentially made the Uyghurs a slave society because they're running out of working people. You know what I mean? They're running out of the working class in their societies. France is the same thing. They're facing a demographic crisis where all these countries that they have colonized and enslaved for the last 300 years or so are coming back to France, causing the numbers of the French people to get lowered while the immigrant population grows. And how many Muslim countries did these French people colonize? You're talking about Algeria, Tunisia, Mali, what else? Morocco. So many of them. So they are taking this aggressive, even Lebanon, aggressive position against Islam because the population is being made dawah to, and their own white population is becoming Muslim. So in order to curb that the Francophone Christian society does not become a Muslim society, they now took a firm stance of calling Islam a terrorist religion. And they call freedom of speech now anything that speaks against Islam. You understand? Because of these demographic crises. Also, if you look at the United States, for example, they're having their own demographic crisis. They're having their own demographic crisis because since the early 1900s, late 1800s, early 1900s, they have been trying to control the population of black people in America, trying to cull the population, make the black population around 13.4%, actively trying to do this, mind you, writing it in their literature that they're going to do this, and actually implementing this. However, the dominant white society has now accepted the rancor that they were inflicting on black folk. What do you mean? For example, Planned Parenthood, having small families, these type of things, right? The dominant white society has accepted this propaganda. You understand? So now their acceptance of this has put the dominant white society in a demographic crisis. So much so, so much so that even Joe Biden himself, had said that by 2040, white people will be a minority in America. So this is why you find all these Western governments taking these hardline stances against black people and Muslims all over the world. It's because of fear that after 400 plus years of slavery, institutionalized racism, violence, and oppression, that somebody will come along and inspire these black men and black women to rise out of the ashes like the phoenix and inflict revenge on the perpetrators and the benefactors of the merchants of pain and misery. So you find these governments just losing their minds, losing their natural minds, okay? So as they see their own numbers dwindling, as Joe Biden himself said, and I put this out in one of my videos, right? They make these aggressive pushes like for example, the anti-LGBT hate bill, the anti-Asian hate bill in the States, the European Union permitting what is essentially a hijab ban, and so on, right? That is fear. That is because of fear. That is the fear. That is the fear, the natural fear, the same fear that Pharaoh had, Fir'aun. They have the same fear today. What do you mean, Bilal? Pharaoh feared the multiplication of the children of Israel. When he noticed the children of Israel increasing in their number, he said, "Let us deal wisely with them, and we will slaughter their boys and leave their girls." And Allah says that was a great trial for them, the Beni Israel. He feared that the Beni Israel, or the children of Israel, with their increasing numbers, that they might join an opponent of his. You understand me? And then one day come against him. He knew that he knew, and he was very aware of all the evil that he had inflicted against the Beni Israel. He knew that. And was there any merit to his fear or his actions? Not really, not so much. But the guilty and the guilt of the guilty always makes them go to excesses because they understand that they are deserving of punishment and retribution. And they know that beyond a shadow of a doubt that retribution should come to them. Y'all understand me? So in order to avoid their justice, they increase in injustice. And that's why Allah says in the Quran, "Fi qulubihim maradun fazadahum Allahu marada." Right? That's why Allah says in the Quran that in their hearts is a disease, so Allah increases them in that disease. You understand me? وَلَهُمْ عَذَابٌ عَلِيمٌ فَمَا كَانُوا يَكْذِبُونَ. And for them is a painful, powerful punishment for that which they used to deny. You understand? We have many Fir'aun today. So many that are following the footsteps of their Salaf, the Fir'aun of Musa. Musa, alayhi salam, he wasn't trying to seek revenge against Fir'aun or the people of Egypt, and neither was Harun, alayhi salam. The call of Moses and the call of Aaron wasn't to humiliate or seek retribution against Pharaoh and the ruling class on behalf of the Israelites. Allah says in the Quran, "Hal ataka hadithu Musa." Have you heard the story of Moses? إِذْ نَادَاهُ رَبُّهُ بِالْوَادِ الْمُقَدَّسِ طُوًى. When his Lord called to him in the sacred valley of Tuwa. اذهب إلى فرعون إنه طغى. Go to Fir'aun. Indeed, he has transgressed. Why did Allah want Moses to go to Fir'aun? Because he has transgressed. And what did Allah order Moses to say to Fir'aun? فَقُلْ هَلْ لَكَ إِلَىٰ أَن تَزَكَّى. And say to him, would you be willing to purify yourself? Purify yourself from what? From his sins, from his transgressions. Are y'all hearing me? وَأَهْدِيَكَ إِلَىٰ رَبِّكَ فَتَغْشَى. And let me guide you to your Lord so that you would fear him. All over the world right now, Muslims are calling the people to their Lord. And then, what did Allah do as a favor to who? To Musa? No, to Fir'aun. فَأَرَاهُ الْآيَةُ الْكُبْرَى. فَأَرَاهُ الْآيَةُ الْكُبْرَى. He showed him the greatest signs, some great miracles. That were no doubt about those miracles. Just like throughout the world, the people are now seeing the great sign of the Quran. Allah showed Fir'aun as a mercy to him. Ya Rab, the sign of Musa and the staff and turning into a snake, and then that snake eating the magic of the two musicians, and those two musicians on the spot accepted the Lord of Moses on that spot, and Fir'aun saw that with his own eyes. And what was the reaction of Fir'aun? فَكَذَّبَ وَعَصَى. Pharaoh, he denied. Not only did he deny the sign itself, but he took it further and he disobeyed. ثُمَّ أَدْبَرَ يَسْعَى. And he turned his back. He turned his back. What was he turning his back on? He was turning his back against the truth. Y'all hearing me? He was turning his back against the truth. Yes, striving, working hard against it. Do we not have governments today that work hard and strive and turn their back against the truth today? Ya salam. Ya salam. فَهَشَرَ الْفَنَادَى. Then he gathered his people and he called out, فَقَالَ أَنَا رَبُّكُمْ الْأَعْلَى. He said, I am your Lord, the Most High. Family, especially my black family, when they forced you out of your original religions into Christianity, who did they tell you was your Lord? Who did they tell you was your Lord? Somebody put it in the chat, please. Who did they say was your Lord? Somebody please put it in the chat. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, like, subscribe, share. Nicholas P., white Jesus. Exactly. Exactly. White Jesus. Themselves, exactly. Rashid Abdul Razak, themselves. They gave you a picture of Jesus, and then they said, this is God, or this is the Son of God. But either way, let's say, for example, we say it's the Son of God. If that is the Son of God, and he is this white man, then the Father is God, then you are going to subconsciously make the connection that since the Son is white, the Father is who? The Father is Jesus the Caucasian, as Shafaruddin said. So if the Father and the Son are white, you will never, ever, ever see yourself as part of anything to do with God with your black skin. And this is exactly what the Beni Israel were going through with Fir'aun. The same thing. Fir'aun was telling them, Anna Rabbukum al-A'la, I am your Lord, the Most High. Now, mind you, Musa wasn't approaching Fir'aun to try to destroy him. Musa wasn't approaching Fir'aun to try to embarrass him. As a matter of fact, even Musa asked Allah to strengthen him with Harun because he had the speech impediment, the stuttering that he had, so that he can talk to Fir'aun in a manner which would be good. So Harun was the articulates, and Musa was the knowledge, and they both came to him, giving him good words. Is this not what the Muslims have done throughout the West? And is this not the same treatment that we, especially us black people, have gotten? That we did not see a cut down of aggression. Rather, we've seen an increase of aggression. And what? You see, when you come to people with the words of Allah, Ya Rab, when you come to people with the words of Allah and they deny it, whether or not they are aggressors against you or they destroy you or your families is irrelevant. Who do you go to for justice if you can't get justice from the human beings? Who gives you justice if you cannot get justice here on earth? Who gives you justice? Somebody please put it in the chat. Who gives you justice if you do not and you cannot get justice here on earth? It's those people who think they can escape justice. Thank you, Abdul Mateen. Thank you, Hanif. It's Allah. It's Allah. They actually believe that they can outrun and outlast and outbuy and outwar justice. That's why they act like they do. And what did Allah do to Fir'aun for Ana Rabbukum Ala Allah? فَأَخَذَهُ اللَّهُ نَكَالَ الْآخِرَةَ وَالْأُولَى. So Allah seized him in a powerful punishment for the last and the first, for the last transgression and the first transgression. You see, some of y'all, because you're living in the dunya right now and you see that this battle that we have to fight against the enemy, you lose hope. You think that perhaps Allah doesn't know what's going on in the recesses and in the subconscious of your mind. You think that Allah has forgotten you. And that's simply just not the case. The ultimate success is with Allah. So if you call these people to the truth and they accept it, you have succeeded. If you call these people to the truth and they have denied, you still have succeeded and they have failed. If you call these people to the truth and they accept and betray you, you still have succeeded and they have failed. And if you call these people to the truth and they do what every single Fir'aun today is doing with this mass aggression, the stepping up and trying to trample on the rights of Black people internationally, the silencing of Islam internationally, the success is with those who strive and struggle for the truth, and they are the losers. But they can't comprehend it. They can't see it. They really believe, and they're not joking. They're not messing around. They believe that their technology, their education, their land, their weaponry, all of their assets, all of their wealth will save them from punishment from you. Maybe that's the case. But if you have Allah on your side, and that is what we've been missing. We've been missing getting Allah on our side. If you have Allah on your side, what chance do they have? Even with their land, even with their weapons, even with their education, even with their oppression and their rules and their laws and their fear and their propaganda and their books, even with all that, what chance do they have against the one slave who has Allah on his side? This is what we've been missing. That's the only thing that we've been missing. And how do we know this? How do we know this? Because Allah says in the very next ayah, Inna fi dhalika la'ibratan liman yakhsha. Indeed. What does Allah say? Inna. Indeed, like for sure. There's no doubt. Fi dhalika la'ibratan liman yakhsha. That is a warning for anybody who would fear Allah. Yes, Salaam. The whole idea was to give Pharaoh a chance to repent and do justice by the children of Israel. He could have kept his honor intact, still ruled, and become a worshiper of Allah. And Egypt and Pharaoh might have avoided total destruction. But it wasn't enough for him to just refuse the message. He outright rebelled against the message, saying, Ana rabbukumul a'la, I am your Lord the Most High. And what was his motivation in all this? Pharaoh was afraid of losing the power, the wealth, the status that he had amassed. This new message Musa alayhi salam was bringing, he felt that was a threat to his legacy. He feared that these Israelites would listen to a man that would change their religion, change their condition, change the status quo, free Bani Israel, and he would lose the greatest asset which he possessed, which was bondaged bodies and minds of a people who worshipped him as a god, whom he completely controlled. He controlled every aspect of not just their lives, but their thinking. Do we not know a people like that today? I'm just saying, do we not know a people just like that today? So when Musa, alayhi salam, he came to him with this message of returning to Allah, did he let up? Did Pharaoh let up? No. He became more hostile. He became more belligerent. And he had the Bani Israel working harder and even torturing and killing his own wife, Asiya, in order to maintain his power. Are y'all hearing me? Does any of this sound familiar? Does any of this sound familiar in 2021? And just like Pharaoh killed the males and spared the women of Beni Israel, today in America and in Britain and in South America and the Caribbean and in Africa and all over the earth, the black male is under assault. The hate which black people are taught at a young age, especially in the modern Egypt, which is Western countries, is so robust and effective. We were taught generationally to hate ourselves, to hate our origins, to hate our skin, to hate our hair, to hate the shape of our nose, to hate the thickness of our lips, so that to destroy one another is to destroy the very thing that we hate. Yes, Salaam. Y'all ain't hearing me. You are not hearing me. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Like, subscribe, share. Hit me up on Patreon, please. To destroy ourselves is to destroy the very thing we hate, but yet at the same time, to defend the enemy is to defend the thing we love. I'm going to give you a couple of stories, okay? You know, when I started making these refutation videos on Wajdi, right? Some brother, I don't know who it is, right? Because, you know, at that time, those people were trying to sabotage my channel. You know, him, Sajid, and them, you know, they were trying to, and my channel was like under attack, right? It was just under attack. But one person in the comments, right, said, brother, I'm a black African. I'm black and I'm African. And Wajdi is not like this and he's not like this and blah, 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 blah. I'm putting receipts on my channel, okay? I'm not just talking for the sake of talking here. You see what I'm saying? I'm putting out the receipts. And here comes the black African coming to defend not the brother who put the receipts out on Wajdi, but to defend the thing that he loves that is not black. The one who attacked black. He came to defend that. Another brother, same thing. With Daniel Hakikachu, same thing. I'm black African brother, you know, and Daniel Hakikachu. You know what these people are waiting for? I'll tell you something. I had a conversation with a brother in WhatsApp, right? Black brother, another black brother from the States, okay? And I'm telling him what white supremacy is. And you know what he told me? I will lie, this is the truth. He told me this. He said that, you know, white supremacists to him is somebody in their pickup truck talking about, hey, you nigga, what are you doing over here? With these guys are waiting for me to put these people saying nigger and a KKK hood on, and then they might believe that those people are racist. And even still, even if I found some sort of video clip with Daniel Hakikachu or any of your racist duat, right, saying nigger with a KKK hood, they would still find a way to make an excuse for them. That's what they're waiting for. Because they hate black and they love everything else. Thumbs up, like, subscribe, share. This is the reality. This is the reality. So today, we are the number one destroyer of ourselves. White people are not doing to us what we are doing to ourselves. You understand me? However, at the same time, this global awakening that is happening amongst black people has the enemy from every single people group scared as crap, just like Pharaoh was afraid. Every single people group is afraid. If you look on these news outlets, is what's happening in Africa today, you will find Africans running the Chinese out of Africa, standing up for themselves. African leaders and presidents and prime ministers saying no outright and openly to the LGBT agenda with bravado. Just no. There's no. We don't. They're like, no. Okay. No, thank you. Even Muslims in the West, they can't do that. Muslims in the West, they cannot do that. They just say like, no, keep that where you got it. So many of them, so many of these African leaders are taking a firm stance against the vaccinations. Like, I'm not pro-vaccine, I'm not anti-vax, right? And to me, I leave that to your personal decision. But these African leaders are saying no to the vaccine because why? They know the history of these devils and vaccines in Africa. And the enemy is watching. And because they're watching and they're seeing this global awakening, they're getting belligerent and aggressive. Now imagine if they spoke and acted with this bravado and unity in one voice under one God, the one true God, Allah. Could any enemy destroy them or destroy us? Is it even fathomable or thinkable? And even if they were able to kill hundreds, thousands, millions of us, we would see our slain brothers and sisters as shuhada. And we would know it's just a matter of time before Allah's help comes to us, because we're doing everything that Allah commanded us to do in the Quran and the Sunnah. Thumbs up, like, subscribe, share. That's what we're missing. Let me ask you guys something. If I was to sell you a house, okay? Say I'm a real estate agent. I sold you a house. You worked your entire life, and you finally got your piece of the pie, right? Okay. You finally got your piece of the pie, okay? And your dream home that you paid for with your hard-earned money, you bought that house off of me. And we walked into that house that you bought with your hard-earned money, and you found that my family was in that house. Okay, my children were in the bedrooms of the bedrooms that I was supposed to be for your children. Okay, my wife is in the bedroom that's supposed to be for you and your wife. Pictures of my family were everywhere in your house. I never gave you the keys to that house. And the only time I let you in that house was to cook my food, wash my clothes, scrub my toilets, clean the house, do the landscaping, and you and your entire family had to sleep in the garage of the house that you bought and paid for your family. What would you think about that? What would you say about that? Well, if you have a problem with that, then what do you say? What do you say when you have to pay for an education? Oh, you guys aren't ready for this. Y'all ain't ready. Y'all ain't ready, okay? What do you say when you have to pay for an education that you worked hard to receive, only to find out that that same education that you were sold is only meant to work for the dominant class? That education allows Africans in Africa to be high-end slaves in Africa in their own countries. You guys ain't ready. Y'all ain't ready. Y'all ain't ready. That education allows you to build up the dominant society, and no matter how rich you get, you're only making your slave master richer. Many times richer. You guys ain't ready. This is the global awakening that Black people are beginning to see. How every people group is benefiting off the hard work and the destruction, either or. They're benefiting off the hard work or the destruction of Black society so that we can become slaves in our own homes. You see the game now? Do you see the game now? What do you think this monetary policy is about? Global monetary policy. What is that about? How is it that a country like America has the whole world under arrest for greenbacks, American dollars? They print them into infinity, but they can't find any of those infinite dollars that they print for Black people. What do you think that's about? What do you think that's about? Why did Allah say in the Quran that He and that Allah and His Messenger have declared war on riba? Why do you think that is? I'm going to be a little personal here. Like my kids, right? In this house that we have, okay? 4 kids here. All of them, alhamdulillah, and say mashallah, say mashallah. All of them, alhamdulillah, mashallah, tabarakallah. They're all A students, okay? All of them, they have their career paths set already. Alhamdulillah, mashallah, tabarakallah, okay? They will be, inshallah, the first people in my family, all the kids, to be complete university, inshallah. My oldest daughter's 1 year out, almost finished university. My oldest son, he's got his path already. He's set to do engineering, inshallah. And then the other the 2 daughters, they have their path set already. Okay. And the one thing I tell my kids all the time, say mashallah, okay? Because for some of you, especially from other people groups, this might be no thing. You might come from, a family of academics and stuff like that. You understand what I'm saying? You might come from that background. But for a Black family, That's very rare. Okay? But the one thing we tell our kids all the time, right? And may Allah bless my wife. May Allah bless her and give her to Jannatul Firdaus. Ameen. Because she's extremely cooperative. She helps the kids so much. You know what I mean? And we're on the same page, exactly the same page when it comes to the kids. And the work that we do for the kids, it's like we work together for these kids, okay? But one thing we tell them is that when you guys finish your stuff, do not, under any circumstances, right, try to work as individuals. You work together as a family. You work together as a family. Anything you need to do, you do it as a group. If you're going to buy land, you buy land as a group. If you're going to buy a house, you buy a house as a group. Every single thing you do it together as a family. You're all Muslim. You're all black. You're all going to be educated, inshallah. And if you work together, when you help yourselves, you will be able to help your brothers and sisters outside. Does not Allah say in the Quran, save yourselves and your families from the hellfire? The strong believer is better than the weak believer. When you start destroying your family units and your groups and your masajid and you're destroying the brotherhood, all you do is make your oppression easier for the enemy. Are y'all hearing me? That's all you do. You make your oppression easier for the enemy. But if you follow the blueprint in the miracle given to us in the Quran itself, that miracle, that Quran, is more powerful than the miracle of Musa dropping his staff in front of Fir'aun so that Fir'aun can watch the snakes of the magician, the magic of the magicians be eaten by the staff of the snakes. Why, Bilal? Because this Quran is for everybody. That miracle was for Fir'aun specifically. Allah is trying to remove the fear of the enemy from your hearts with the Quran, with the Sunnah. Why do you think he talks about Fir'aun? Why do you think he talks about Ad and Thamud? Why do you think he talks about Qawm Lut? How powerful they were, how strong they were. And yet still, it was through the help of Allah that they were destroyed. Well, the help of Allah is right here. It's right here. This is the help of Allah. If you want the help of Allah, abide by this. There is nothing these enemies can do if you implement this. They can't do anything. All they'll do is frustrate themselves. No matter how many of us they try to kill and slaughter and like this. You understand? This tight-knitness with my children is something that I used to make dua for all the time. You know, and my children, mashallah, they're very close. Say mashallah, say mashallah. No hasad, okay? I'm only giving you this personal story to let you know that if you really are about Muslim unity, it starts at home first. It starts between the husband and the wife, and then from the husband and wife to the children, and then from the children together. And then when you're united on the same page, and you teach your children about unity, it becomes easier to help the family outside. There's an old African proverb, you know, if there is no enemy within, The enemy without can't harm you. So we make this transition from self-hate to self-worth. And this transition is so powerful and potent that the world is watching you, Black people. The whole world is watching you, afraid of your unity. And furthermore, afraid of you becoming Muslim and united. Because Islam has this thing, Islam does this thing that no matter where it goes, it has a habit of taking the poor, downtrodden, lonely people and making them into pillars of society. You are the lowly, you are the downtrodden, you are the oppressed, you are the abandoned, the forgotten, the exiled, the imprisoned. The same Quran that everybody else has, now you have it. That makes you an automatic threat. But in order to be a real threat, you can't just exist. You have to go above and beyond what your capabilities are, especially when it comes to Islam. If you're going to get into a career, it's not enough you as a Muslim just dabble in it. You have to excel in it. You have to be the best in it. Be the best real estate agent. Be the best carpenter or plumber or whatever, or doctor, whatever it is you choose. Excel in it. And when you excel, what can they do to you after that? Especially if Allah is on your side. Anyways, I talked enough. Let's see if I can find some of these comments here, and then we'll just call it a night, inshallah. Okay, so let's see here. On YouTube, like, subscribe, share, hit me up on Patreon. They keep people distracted and divided and afraid, just like how Pharaoh kept control over the land. Exactly. That's the modern day Pharaoh of today. You know what I mean? All these intersectional groups, you know, LGBT, alt-right, what you call it, progressives, all this kind of stuff, liberals, they're all just divide and conquer tactics. Very old divide and conquer tactics. However, because in the West, there's a matter of subversion. So now these groups have gone so far, right? They've gone so far in these directions that people have become manic about the groups that they've chosen to be in, and you can't even have a conversation with them. So that now has put these societies on the brink of collapse. And the dominant class, they know this. They know this. They plan. They don't plan like us. We plan in 5-year intervals because our kids go to school in 5-year intervals. These guys plan 30, 40, 50 years in advance. So they know what's happening. They know what's up. Let's see what else here. Yes, it's kind of normal these days. Let's see. UK, go to uni. I mean, entry level has become a lot easier. Let's see here. Jazakallah khair, Sister Tika. Thank you so much for your super chat. Allah bless you and increase you in iman and taqwa and ilm, and return it to you 1,000-fold. Ameen, ameen, ameen. Everybody say ameen. Everybody say ameen. Let's see here. Brother Hanif. Racist without using racist terms. Language is important. Racist without using racist terms. And when you talk about these, for especially these racist du'at, right? You expect them to come out and say nigga, nigga, nigga? Is that what you're expecting from them? And then you'll believe that they're racist? Y'all are tripping. Y'all are tripping. It's the problem is you don't understand what racism is. And when somebody who understands what racism is tells you that this is racist, you have a problem with the person telling you because you're so in love with your white zaddy du'at. You're so in love with them and you're attached to the personality so much, You can't believe that the one that you love, and you don't know, mind you, people you've never met, never traveled with, never done business with, you're willing to fight for them instead of the person that's telling you the truth. But may Allah help and aid and guide the Muslims, man. I mean, see her on Facebook. Yeah, I think that's it for the comments, inshallah. You guys have a great weekend. I came to you in peace. I leave you in peace. Please like, subscribe, share. Hit me up on Patreon. If you, this was more of an open session, but if you like this type of stuff, these type of open session lives, I can do more of them, inshallah. Okay. Subhanaka wa bihamdik wa ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.